Welcome to Best Friends for Never. Okay, housekeeping. Hold up. Can you, if I go out? You can't actually see my top, but I'm wearing a silk scarf, very 2004. But this is what we're reading this month, and I didn't hate it. It did not hurt me to read this one. I was game. I actually gave it a favorable review on Goodreads. Like, I think we spent so much time with absolute pitiful Claire last time that it was like, this is too much. Whereas this time, most of the drama is centered on how the other girls treat each other and can be a little more palatable. Some things that I can introduce that I'm so excited to share with you that are happening now. I mean, other than the fact that I have a gentle, just looking absolutely haunted is my brand. The CLIQUE is back. Massey Block, still gorgeous, still trend-setting, still ruling social scene at Octavian County. Oh my god, words are hard. Massey Block, still gorgeous, still trend-setting, still ruling the social scene at Octavian Country Day. She hopes. To keep her spot at the top, Massey decides to throw OCD's first boy-girl Halloween party. But she's not sure which is scarier, that her parents are making her invite the entire grade, or that she has to throw the party with Claire. Dylan Marvel. Lost the weight, kept the attitude. Plans to use her new bod to snag a new guy. God. Christian Gregory. Clothes are for sharing. Guys are not. Likes the same guys as Dylan does. I swear to God, I can't read. Kristen Gregory. Clothes are for sharing. Guys are not. Likes the same guy Dylan does. Will do whatever it takes to get him. Alicia Rivera. Alicia Rivera. Alicia Rivera. With the CLIQUE unraveling faster than last season's Burberry sweater, it just might be time for Alicia to stage her takeover. I don't read the back of these books. I need to read the back of these books. Claire Lyon. Still out. Wants in. Seriously needs to lose the kids. You will notice that in my discussion of what this book is about, what this particular tome is about, I do not talk about Dylan's weight loss. I'm just gonna say up front, I can turn back towards you now. I'm gonna say up front what her deal is. Essentially, she loses 5 pounds on the Atkins diet, specifically naming the Atkins diet, which I think is gross. And proceeds to be very confident in her body and her ability to get a boyfriend. It doesn't really affect, I wouldn't say that oh, she lost the weight, she's a worse friend. They're all terrible friends. She's still equally as terrible a friend as she was pre losing the weight. So the fact that that's her whole thing on the back of the book, don't love that. I don't plan on bringing it up anymore. Dylan lost 5 pounds. Good for her. Can you read it? It's a timeline. Not a lot of things happen in these books. But like they take place over like a month or so. So I felt like it'd be fun to have a little timeline. So like the first book, it starts on September 1st. The second book starts on October 23rd. And all of this happens between there and there. I also have a dumb relationship chart. Because now we are introducing, like, around this time, Bratz dolls were coming out, and the Bratz dolls had boy dolls that were their counterparts. And that's essentially what we're doing. We're bringing the boys' Bratz dolls to the series, and we must keep track of who's with who. Oh, Lord. So this book is, I found to be so much better than the first one. I didn't have to slog through it, and I read through it mostly in about a weekend, and then I had to read back through it for my notes. And I did that in a day. So please clap. So book starts on the 23rd of October. We are at Massey's dad's birthday party dinner, and this book, for some reason, I know, look, boys be boys, but this is like boys be boys comp head bullshit. Todd has decided that Massey is the object of his affection, so he, you know, he does things that little boys do to be annoying, you know, he pushes something over and there's a Fortnite dance. He knocks over the juice that they're drinking, and it lands on her suede skirt, and then he takes that opportunity to pat dry the skirt. It's like, how's that not gross? How is that not gross? So he is getting exactly what he wants from him. He's got a little baby crush on her. Massey throws insults at him and his parents by extension. I don't really know anything about Claire's mom seems fine, but Claire's dad, he seems like a pig. So while they allow and excuse Todd being, you know, just a gross little gremlin, Massey cares more about her clothing being destroyed than, you know, the feelings of Todd. She does not need to care about Todd's feelings, but whatever. Oh, excuse me. You know, and it's like, it's all excusable because she's older than him, so it's not like as old as all. But could you imagine if a 13-year-old boy just like copped a feel on a 10-year-old? Jail for both. Leave her alone. So she freaks out because she loves her clothing. She freaks out because she loves her clothing and she loves shopping. And Claire calls her out and is just like, you couldn't even go a whole month without shopping. And she's like, yeah, well, you wear the same things every day. I've seen those white pants you were wearing like 4 times. And she's just like, oh. And so the bet is set. Claire will not wear, she won't repeat an item of clothing, and Massey won't go shopping. So after the bet is set, Massey goes and answers her phone. She gets a little, and it's Alicia. Alicia's like, girl, you'll never guess who, you know, who's been talking shit. Becca Wilder and Liz Goldman are like, oh my god, we're gonna have Massey's, you know, losing her touch. She's not as dominant as she thinks she is, or that she used to be. So we're going to host the first boy-girl party of the year, of our grade. They're saying she's lost her touch, and that she's not as influential. She's not alpha anymore. They're like, maybe we could, according to Alicia, they're like, maybe we can move into her spot. So, God, Massey's like, I have to have this boy-girl party. And I have to do it this year for Halloween. I can't do it second. But she knows her parents won't go for it. So she waits until afterwards, where Claire is up in her room avoiding her because, you know, Claire's found that it's easier to just avoid Massey than absolutely getting curb stomped every time she talks to her. I honestly don't know what to do with Massey and Claire, Judy said. I thought they'd be the best of friends by now. Which is just like, why are you forcing these girls? I do get bitten. Massey appeared around the door to see Claire's reaction, but her seat was empty. She must have dipped out while Massey was on the phone. I agree with Judy, Kendra added. I'm surprised. You don't look it, William said. Kendra shrugs. Botox. Just because they live on the same property doesn't mean they have to be joined at the hip, Jay said. Maybe they need a little more time to adjust to each other. You know, like a couple territorial house cats. And Massey's like, hey, if we pretend to be friends, because she overhears their moms talking about how it seems like Claire just isn't friends with her, which she isn't. She's like, hey, if our moms think that we're getting along, they'll give us anything we want. And I want a boy-girl party, and you want a cell phone. So why don't you just help me acquiesce them and make them happy, make them happier, by pretending to be my friend. If we do a teeny tiny bit of lying, we can get what we want. So, current state of the union. I thought that the states of the union, current state of the union with Massey, or what bookended the books, because there appear to only be two last book, start and the end. But no, there are multiple throughout this book, so you'll hear about them. Current state of the union in is shoporexia. Don't make anorexia jokes. Halloweeny parties. And Claire. And what's out? Shopaholics. Cheek or Treat. And Becca Wilder. So Claire is talking to Lainey. Lainey is, you know, Lainey's trying to be a good friend to her. They're sending each other like little proto BuzzFeed quizzes, but Claire's just not receptive. She very desperately wants to be a part of the pretty committee, and it's just not, it's not happening for her. This isn't in the cards, but whatever. So when Massey starts IMing her, she's ignoring her because she's, you know, she's in her feelings. But Massey just goes up to the guest house and is like, hey, we need our moms to think we're friends so we can get what we want. You want a cell phone? I want a boy-girl party. You know, they're most definitely gonna give it to you if we ask together. Claire immediately is like, yeah, sure, why not? I really want this cell phone, because she's gullible and does not seem to think that Massey would lie to her. So they go downstairs and they're like, Massey does all the talking and it's like, can we have a boy-girl party? I have to invite everyone in the grade so that no one's left out, but I really want to have this party. Her mom is like, well, we'll think about it. And she's like, well, we have to do it now because Halloween's in a week. And so she gets the okay. Claire's like, what about the cell phone? And she's like, huh, what? What about the cell phone? And Claire's parents are like, no, not until you're 16. So she's, you know, SOL. She's all boonswoggled by Massey and is pissed. So honestly, begins a tit-for-tat bullshit barometer in which they each do things that piss one another off, and they just kind of have to deal with it. Like, Claire, you're so gullible. So the pretty committee goes on, next day goes on a field trip where they talk about the security that so Claire tells the rest of the pretty committee on this field trip, oh my god, we're gonna have a boy-girl, you know, boy-girl party. Alicia's like, well, I have experience kissing boys because when I was on a family trip in Spain, we'd have parties with boys and girls and we'd be kissing. We'd have kissing parties and we'd play kiss or no kiss and kiss all the time. Oh, it feels very untrue. It feels like a lie, but, you know, Massey can't read her mind. Doesn't know that she's plotting on her. Plotting on the bestie. That's the thing about these series of books, is that everyone lies, and it goes super unchallenged. They all lie to each other, and yet anytime anything comes out of anyone's mouth, they just let it hang around in the air like it's truth. Like it can't ever be challenged. So we kind of get some information about the boys that each of the girls like. Dylan, Massey likes this boy named Cam Fisher that she met at her parents' benefit, and Dylan and Kirsten both like the same boy. His name is Derek Harrington. They call him Darrington. He's, you know, apparently, they don't even describe him really. He's just, you know, he's the Bratz doll. He's a Bratz doll. Massey, the boy Massey has a crush on. She hasn't told her or anyone because she doesn't want anyone to know her feelings about anyone until she can confirm that they have those feelings back for her after what happened with Chris Aberley. Darrington was, so both girls have a crush on him because Dylan told Alicia and Kirsten told Massey, and no one's talking to. So Kirsten told Massey, and Dylan told Alicia. And again, because I didn't read the back of the book before I read the book, I didn't know that Alicia was going for domination. Feels like sabotage. Feels like sabotage. So, after school, Claire's hanging out with with Lane. So after school, Claire is hanging out with Lane Aberley, and the girls are talking about being a boy-girl party. Claire is excited because she's, you know, she wants to be around boys again. She's been around boys her entire life, and so she's, you know, things were less complicated when the boys were around, because when you go to school with them, co-ed, because not everyone's trying to, you know, make eyes at them and impress them all the time. They're just there to, you know, they're around. You know, a boy pulls your hair and throws sand in your eyes enough times and they're no longer a mystical, magical creature. Lainey doesn't want them to be there because she wants everyone to have fun and doesn't feel like that's going to happen if everyone's trying to impress boys. Claire gets out the car, it's like thanks for the ride, and goes to the party planning meeting with Massey. and Landon Dorsey. Landon Dorsey has like this Germanish accent, and he's really intense about party planning. They decide to have a Hell on Earth Halloween party, and I feel like it's going slower because I'm not trying to word vomit everything out at once, but like I have my thoughts written down. After the stylist leaves, Massey makes fun of the party planner, and Claire and her kind of bond a little bit. You know, we're setting up the stakes to lose in the end. It's great storytelling. I'm not mad about it. Okay, hold up. So now that they've got all the party, everything is situated, and they are kind of in a good place, Massey gives her a list of people she wants to send invitations, and Massey doesn't want to be associated with the LBRs, the losers beyond repair, and so she tells Claire that these are the people you're inviting to the party as co-host. Put your name and number. Well, Claire's like, you're not gonna tell me what to do, and puts down Massey's number and name. And I mean, good for her. It's a bad bitch move. So it's literally like the third day of her figuring out what she has to wear, and she's like spiraling. They're going on a trip to the mall because Claire wants to get some clothing because she can't repeat outfit pieces. She spends all day trying to figure out what to wear. She's really quite, I will give Massey that, is she's not just labels. She's quite fashionable and fashion aware. So they're in the mall, and Claire, because it's Claire's shopping experience, both moms are there, both Judy and Kendra, and they're like looking for Halloween pieces to go, you know, they're looking for Halloween parts, costume parts. Words are so hard. Megan, so much cutting to do. I apologize. Claire, Massey meets up with the pretty committee, and she's like, buy me some clothing. Claire won't even know. And Todd continues to be a sex pest, flirting, in quotes, with Massey. They're looking for costume pieces. Massey decides that she and her friends are going to be devils, sexy devils. And Claire was going to be a Powerpuff Girl, but her mom bullies her into being one of the devils, because why shouldn't the hosts match? So Dylan and Kristen are still arguing about daring Ginger, and, you know, Alicia, smart girl, getting close. They go home, and pieces have been picked out. More people keep RSVPing for the party to Massey, and Massey's getting pissed. She's getting more and more spun up, and she can't figure out what she's gonna wear. And then she sees that the devil costumes have been finished. It's Halloween day, and it is something like, I was wearing something pretty cute earlier, but I felt like I had to dress sluttier for this section. When she flipped her hair, oh god, Jesus. When she flipped her head back, she noticed the 5 dirty devil costumes splayed across her purple duvet. Inez must have finished working on them late last night and dropped them off while she was in the shower. Red pleated micro minis were once frumpy knee-length skirts with arrow tip tails sewn onto the back line the foot of the bed. Above each one was a pair of gray boy shorts with "Kiss It" written across the butt in silver glitter. Tiny black petite bantu tanks with strategically placed rips and tears were sprayed out like a fan. Massey checked the top left of each one, the spot usually reserved for a designer's logo, to make sure her instructions were properly executed. They were: red stitching personalized each girl's costume. Massey Devil, Kristen Devil, Alicia Devil, Dylan Devil, and Claire Devil. Massey could barely look at the last one. It just didn't belong. Right beside Bean's doggy bed was a tiny black shirt that said Bean Devil across the back. But Massey was too upset to smile. Bean, you're the fifth, not her. So she's going up to that school dressed as a whore. I mean, like, good for her and fashion, but, like, ripped skirt and tiny shirts and anytime there's any bedazzling on any butts for children, out immediately. Like, the difference between, like, a filming session in a while. I can only bust through it, and it's not even gonna be that long. Like, they're showing up dressed like whores. It's giving Euphoria High. It's giving Christina Aguilera dirty. It is a mess. Like, Yetis and berries. It feels unsafe. Like, I know this is like a dream, and like it's 2003, but my god. Put on, you know, something. You're actively dressing like a slutty adult is, you know, stealing your youth. We're some kids. So she grabs all the devil uniforms except for Claire's and gives them out to the girls. Well, by midday, everyone has taken note of their fashionable moment, and they're like cutting their shirts open, and so that they can have like the ripped look. They're wearing the minis. They're like trying their best to get there. Because Massey is what? The Jaclyn Hill of 2003. So at lunch, Claire comes up to her and is like, why didn't you tell me? I could have worn my thing like everyone else. Because now, if I show up to the party wearing it, everyone's going to think I copied you guys. And that's not fun. I don't want the Briarwood boys to think I'm just copying you. And she's just like, well, bitch, I don't like you. And let me tell you, I didn't want you to be a part of my party. And you can go ahead and tell our moms that I don't even like you that much. Massey is unnecessarily mean, again. Page 71. Believe me, none of the boys will be giving you or your costume a second thought tonight, Massey said. Besides, how are they going to even know what we wore to school today? Supposedly everyone at Briarwood already heard about your sexy costumes, Claire said. The boys have been talking about them all day. Really? Massey's face lit up. She forgot all about the losers beyond repair for a second. Why didn't you tell me you were going to wear your costumes today? Claire asked, her voice trembled. I could have worn mine too. Massey stood up and placed her hands on her hips. Normally, I would make up an excuse so I wouldn't have to tell you straight to your face that I never wanted you to be a part of our costumes. But since you decided to put my cell phone number on every loser's invitation in the greater New York area, I'm not going to bother. Who cares what our mothers say at this point? The party is a done deal. Go be Elmo or whatever it is you were going to be and leave me alone. And then Claire opened her mouth like she was about to say something big, but before anything could come out, she took off. Massey saw Lane get up from her seat by the bathrooms and chase after her. Massey secretly hoped Claire wouldn't tell on her, but she was too mad at the moment to try and stop her. To the Dirty Devils! To the Dirty Devils, they all repeated back. Claire goes to the school nurse's office, and she wants to get away from Massey, but she can't tell the nurse why, because Nurse Adele has become her confidant. Because Nurse Adele will be like, well, you kind of voted it, but she didn't. And while she's in there, her and Lane chases after her, and while they're in there, a different girl comes in and is all cut up. And the nurse is like, what is happening? And they're like, oh, well, she cut herself trying to get sexy getting her outfit sexy like the rest of the girls. Oh, come on. Trying to get sexy like the rest of the teens. Teen sleuths. Like, I'm using loaded language and referring to them as teen sleuths. But really, I think of them in the same light as I do, specifically we had an issue, and we are still dealing with that issue now. Okay. They're all trying to, like, the loaded language that was, I'm repeating some of the loaded language that was used to discuss girls, teen girls. Like, there is no more, essentially the destruction of the tween age. How there are no more Claires. Thanks to Instagram and YouTube taking away some of the experimental parts of it on social media. They're still, obviously they're still out there, but in no small part, we have lost the tween. We have lost that awkward age where you're trying to figure out everything. You're already getting your eyebrows plucked to be Instagram shape ready. You've learned how to put fake lashes on. Your makeup doesn't have any crazy look to it because you're learning from, you know, the current best for free at any time. Everyone has access to it. It's not just Massey's anymore. It's anyone. It's Claire from Orlando that, you know, can dress up in their, you know, most adultiest garb, and their most NSFW garb because they have access to it. And with the mode of fast fashion being the way it is, there is also that. So when I'm talking about this, I don't mean this in like a victim blamey, these girls are whores and sluts in an actual way. I mean it more in a what I just explained kind of way. So, aside over, Adele goes out and is like, I'm sick of this. No, this is absolutely not happening on my watch. And goes to tell the principal how she feels about these girls cutting themselves up trying to dress out of uniform, because they are fully out of uniform code. So of course the pretty committee gets in trouble, and Kristen is devastated because she knows she's not going to get to go to the party if she's in trouble. Not only are they in trouble, but now they have to wear the lousy clothes that's in the Lost and Found. Claire, over the last, like, it's only been a week, has already, like, looted it for some of the, like, cuter items of clothing. Because she's been going to see Adele for a while. So it's Halloween night. Whew. That was gross. Alright, page 47. We're halfway through. So, it's Halloween night, and Claire is bummed because she can't wear the group costume, so she has to go as Blossom. When her brother and his friend come up and they cover for her in front of their mom, and it's like, we wanted her to be a Powerpuff Girl. So Todd, Nathan, and Claire are Bubbles, Buttercup, and Blossom for the night. So Massey's having a hard time getting ready for her party because Kirsten keeps calling in tears because she can't come to the party where Darrington's gonna be, and that means Dylan's going to have a leg up. And she's so worried about Dylan stealing the boy that she likes, and it's a whole big thing. And, you know, missing the party and all that. So everyone appears at the Hell Has Frozen Over party. Just like that, Cam Fisher and his friend Derek Harrington, the infamous Darrington, Derek Ting, has shown up. Cam Fisher's just a soccer player, and Darrington is dressed as a dirtbag. Claire bops up and introduces herself to Cam, and Cam's like, ah, the new girl, I do recognize you. Lane is dressed as a couch potato. Her face is maybe performing blackface, dressed as a potato, and then the rest of her costume is a couch. So we get a current state of the union on page 90, so a little under halfway through the book. In Dylan and Darrington, Massey and Cam Fisher, the old block. Out is Kirsten and Darrington, Massey and Chris Aberley, the new girl. She's not pleased about Claire claring about in the background. Fully a background character. So after hanging around the party for a little bit, Claire goes back up to Massey and is like, hey, get me some boy action or I'll tell our mom what you said to me. So Massey's like, okay, sure, whatever. Meet me at this porta potty that I have marked off. Lainey's convinced it's a trap until two boys come up, Eli and Tristan. Eli is weird, just like Lainey, and they hit it off immediately. Tristan, on the other hand, is this emo eyeliner wearing boy, and you know how Lacey Harrison feels about emo boys. Claire is like, that is not my type, I'm not interested, and he's not funny, he doesn't get my jokes. Sweeps Eli off to go have a magical night of going to be dorks together in the first bout of puppy love for her, and Claire is off to entertain Tristan. So in the back deeper in the party, Massey is by a fire, a little bonfire, roasting marshmallows, and her and the pretty committee, sans Kristen, go up and start roasting their marshmallows. Oh god, go up and are roasting their marshmallows in between Cam Fisher, Darrington, and Vader. Darrington, Cam, and their friend Vader sat on blankets below them. Okay. Massey stuck 3 marshmallows on the prongs of her pitchfork and held them over the raging bonfire. She was standing between Alicia and Dylan, who were doing the same. They looked like 3 boys at a urinal. Darrington, Cam, and their friend Vader sat on blankets below them. They were ripping handfuls of grass out of the ground and staring at the girls' kiss-it undies. I love watching a girl do guys' work, Darrington said. He lay back and folded his hands behind his head. Just, everyone's gross. In an environment in which we don't teach boys not to be gross cretins, I just feel it's very dangerous for them to just be staring at their butts like that. Don't like it. They get into a marshmallow fight after those words are exchanged, and then Massey gets pulled away from all of the cute shit because Kirsten is calling and is super boned, and Massey's like, do you want to talk to Darrington? Well, Dylan swoops in and steals the phone and is like, oh my god. Okay, bestie. I'm sorry. I was like, oh my god, girl, you got grounded? Only babies get grounded. I don't get grounded anymore. You can just hear Kristen, like, scream crying. Like, these are bad friends. These are not people who are good friends to one another. Alicia comes up and is like, I'm bored. Let's play spin the bottle. And that's why we keep a bottle of Excedrin. She's just like, let's play spin the bottle. And they're like, what? I love to play spin the bottle. It comes from, and that comes from a voice slightly off screen. It's Olivia, who has been missing for the first half of the semester. She got a nose job. We're all pretending like it's not happened, but her face is different. She's got a nose job. Who gives a 7th grader a nose job? I'm gonna say terrible parents. They give. A gorgeous girl stood alone by the pit. The dancing orange light from the fire lit her blue eyes beautifully. Her blonde wavy hair touched the middle of her back. She looked like the kind of girl that belonged on a beach in California. The fact that she was wearing a surfer girl, the fact that she was dressed as a surfer girl in a super tight wetsuit, of course, probably had something to do with it. Yeah, me too, Darrington said suddenly. I'll play. Count me in, Cam added. Oh, now I want to play, Dylan said to Massey under her breath. Cool, the girl said, her eyes flickering in the flames. It's great to see you guys, by the way. It's Olivia Ryan. She's been missing for the past month and a half because she got a nose job, and everyone's pretending like she didn't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting your child something to make them more confident and happier in their body. I just think you should wait till your child's an adult to do that kind of stuff, with the exception of certain things. Do not misunderstand me. They all start running for some reason. There's some chasing. I don't know. Everyone's nervous. Well, we flip back to Claire. Claire is getting a caricature done. There. And Cam busts in the back of that and breaks. So, they break the hip of the old caricature artist, and that's when she gets introduced officially to Cam. They start talking, it's like awkward and cute and whatever, and the DJ does last call for the dance and is like, hey, you want to dance? Come dance for this iTunes gift card. Never has a book felt more dated, I'm gonna tell you what. Because we brought back a lot of things in 2020. From the 2000s, we did not bring back gift cards. Big and goofy, the pre-teenness of it all. And they win. They're so goofy. Nelly's Hot in Here plays, and they win. Claire gives her gift card to Cam, and Cam's like, I'll give you. So he's like, I'll burn you a CD with all the songs that I made on it. And they say goodbye. Massey's pissed because Alicia didn't say goodbye, and she left with Olivia. And Landon Dorsey's team just decided that they were gonna leave, so they left without cleaning up. So Massey and Claire have to clean up the holiday party. And while they're working, you know, they get along great when they're working. And rude. So while they're working and they're all getting along and they're friendly, Claire's like, I really like the guy I met today. And Massey's like, yeah, I thought you would. And she realizes that she thinks that Claire's talking about Tristan. And she's like, oh no, but doesn't correct her because she's like, it's not worth it. So now it's the 3rd, and we're back at OCD. They have to be in an assembly after the uniform incident, after the sexy devil uniform incident. We are now in, and everyone knows. So the sexy devil incident happens. The school is like, well, due to complaints from parents and all that, we now have to wear uniforms. I know, it's a bummer. I love fashion and personal expression. I read the quote from the first book, this is a fashion institute, and everyone knows it's Massey's fault. So immediately, Massey leaves the auditorium, hides out in the bathroom. She gets found by Claire, who brings her cell phone, which they all had to suspend their cell phones at the entrance into the auditorium. And so Massey was like so done that she's like willing to just I'll just buy a new one. But Claire brings her cell phone and kind of explains the State of the Union. The State of the Union being that Alicia's with Olivia, her airheaded number 2. Dylan and Kirsten aren't talking to each other because of what happened at the Halloween party, and everyone is out for blood. Claire gives the mindless suggestion, hey, why don't you offer to design to make the uniforms? You're you know, your dad's a big donor. They should just let you do it. Claire's like, yeah, and that might impress Cam. Which is like, why do you care about impressing this man? But whatever, because she's a child. And so she goes off to the principal's office to talk. After she goes to the principal's office, they essentially decided that they're going to do a fashion show and a vote to decide on who gets in, on whose design is going to win. It is open to the whole school. They have until next weekend to do it. They're like, you can work in groups, you can work in teams, you could just be a model, doesn't matter. But, you know, you gotta have a proof of design by Saturday for everyone to vote for. Olivia is with them because Alicia's there, and Massey's none too pleased about it because Olivia is someone that they would normally rip to shreds for being a ditz, but Massey's trying to be a good friend to Elisa, who keeps bringing her and covering for her. She's really trying to ignore her because she's not talking to her because she didn't say goodbye to them at the party. And, you know, that's the cover, but Massey's not dumb, and she knows that she's mad at her friend for, you know, abandoning her, which she cannot handle abandoning. But, so at home, Massey is looking down at her phone, and she decides she's gonna text Cam. She's like, yo, did you leave your shin guards, like, at my house? Hey Cam, just wondering, if you left a pair of shin guards here after the Halloween party, Rennie White was the only other guy dressed as a soccer player, and I really don't want to call him because his voice sounds like Snuffleupagus, and I laugh every time I talk to him. MB. Cam replies like, I have my shin guards, thanks. I lolled when I read the thing about Remy. I always thought that too. Hey, there's a rumor going around that OCD is going uniform. True. Also heard that it's your fault. If it is, that's pretty cool. I like troublemakers. Smiley emoticon. She loses her freaking mind. They end up chatting for the next half an hour on the phone. And only stop because he has to go to dinner. She is over the moon with him. She's a love level 1. So while working on the uniform designs, Massey has Claire over because she doesn't mind being around her when they're working. And she's got her hiding behind the couch so that she can pretend that she's not there. But like, why would you invite her if you were just going to ignore her in a ruder way? I don't know how she works. So the school has been hosting, since it was announced, the school has been hosting like sewing events and workshops and pattern making to teach the girls how to do this better, and, you know, so it doesn't, you know, the proof of content doesn't look like a hot mess. Claire and Massey work for hours until Alicia calls, and there's the pot about Derringer and Cam, and that all the boys, and Christian and all that. Okay, I guess that's something I'm just gonna have to read. Megan, what's the point? So we're actually hearing this chapter from Claire's point of view, which I think is fun, because, you know, Massey's the one who's on the phone. Claire wanted to work with someone, so it'd be fun, but Lainey is working with Eli, and they're doing something weird. It's weird. Lane had invited Claire to team up with them, but Claire politely declined the offer when she heard their plan. Lane wanted Eli to be her model. Are you serious? Claire asked them. They were in an art supply store after school, waiting for Eli to decide on a sketch pad. Claire, uniforms strip away our freedom of expression by forcing everyone to look identical, Eli explained. He flipped open an notebook and rubbed the sheet of thick paper between his thumb and index finger. Claire was really trying hard to pay attention, but all she could focus on was Eli's chipped navy blue nail polish. So we're taking that idea one step further. They're saying, why not make all of us look the same, boys included? Eli said. He looked at the price sticker on the inside of the notebook and put it back on the shelf. Isn't that genius? Lane looked really proud. So Claire is eavesdropping on what Alicia is saying to, "Hey, Alicia," Massey said. Claire thought Massey sounded cold towards her friend and wondered... "Hey, Alicia," Massey said. Claire thought Massey sounded cold towards her friend and wondered if she was still mad about the whole Alicia leaving the party without saying goodbye thing. "What's up?" Massey asked as she turned down the volume on the stereo. "Yeah, I think Darrington's cool, I guess." "Why? Did you find out if he likes Dylan yet? Or what about Kristen? Is he ever gonna tell you? Well, what about Cam? Does he like anyone?" Claire stopped sewing. She leaned against the back of the couch and listened. "No, I don't like No, I don't like clams. No, I don't like Cam." Massey started pacing around the living room. "I was just asking because I thought maybe Olivia did. Well, she was chasing him around the party a lot." "Cam likes someone?" "Who?" "Oh, hold up. Who?" Claire mouthed to herself. "Who?" Massey asked. "Well, find out. Look, I should get back to work. I'll see you tomorrow. You'll find out, right? Okay, bye." And so Claire's like, "God, who likes Cam? I like Cam." And Massey's like, who does Cam like? I like Clam. Clam. Also, I'm pretty sure the blonde, like, boy, I know stereotypical 2000s boy, but, like, I'm pretty sure the name of the Bratz doll that he's, like, most similar to is Cam as well. Cameron was, like, the hottest boy name. Like, after the call with Alicia, Massey's like, "I'm done. I'm fucking done. I've got to go get my beauty rest." And she tells Claire, "Hey, put yourself in this trash bag so that we can't see each other's designs. I'll see you tomorrow." So Claire does, and Massey is like, I don't, in case you want me to steal your ideas and I want you to steal mine." And Claire, like, pretends to be like, "Oh my god, I don't want you to steal my ideas." But really, she's just, like, happy that they had, like, an interaction that wasn't terrible. Do you know how sad that is? That, like, she's just lowered herself to just, like, bare minimum. If I just, I'm just so glad I could be in the same room as him. That's abuse. That's trauma, honey. So the next morning, Massey's trying to get to a field trip class about patterning or some bullshit. And, first off, Alicia's in the city with Olivia going to a sample sale instead of being at school. Is anyone ever gonna graduate? And she's getting on the bus, and Claire busts on the bus in tears because Inez accidentally threw out their work. It's like 2 days worth of work thrown in the trash, and Claire is like miserable. And they're like, "Well, I guess I give up." And they're like, "I give up." And Claire's like, "Well, we could do it if we work together." And Massey's like, "I'm not working with you." And oh my god, my head is hurting so badly. I can't take my hair out of a ponytail because I'll never be able to get back in. I can't. My big hair was too big. It was making my scalp feel like it was trying to melt off my body. It's like, I will do anything if it means that, we all get to work together and get this done. So Claire kind of forfeits the bet. Massey can go shopping whenever she wants. Bet's off. Whatever. Doesn't matter anymore. So she can go shopping again. Great for Massey. I actually really like the quote on that page, and I didn't mark it in my notes, so I'm gonna read it. Am I putting eyelash glue on my hands? Yes, but my brain is mashed potatoes at this point. Claire pushed her way through the aisle and bounced down the steps of the bus. She ran all the way back to class, up on her tiptoes to keep from spraining her ankles. Claire's wearing heels. Her blonde hair whipped across her face, but she never stopped to fix it or tie it back. She didn't seem to care much. Massey watched Claire at the moment as she was Massey watched Claire at that moment as if it was the first time she had ever seen her. And in a way, it was. I love when game respects game. And that's what I feel like is happening. Oh, book 3 is going to hurt me, isn't it? So they're working on their submission. So after school, Massey is taking Bean for a walk and she's trying to hide out from Creeper Todd. And so she hides behind a tree as she watches Todd get off the bus. And then Cam comes up behind him and is like, hey, I need you to do something for me. Cam is like, they're talking, but there's like a football field space away from them. And so she can't hear. So afterwards, after Cam leaves, she goes up and is like, hey, Todd. And Todd's like, oh, you want to play video games with me? You want to do something? And he's just like, she's like, no. Can you give me what he gave you? And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I know you know what I'm talking about. I gotta give Todd credit. He plays it straight. He's like, he gave me the game Medal of Honor, the video game, and then runs off. Massey's like, oh, that's weird, but sure, whatever. Todd kisses her. She's like, give me what he gave you. And Todd takes that opportunity to kiss her, and I hated it. I truly hate. It's like harmless technically, but when there's no consequences for not respecting other people's boundaries. Like, we spent all this time telling people, like, don't do things that bother me unless I think it's cute, essentially. Todd, darling. Massey put her hands on his shoulder and they stopped walking. She glared at him with her amber eyes until a bead of sweat formed above his upper lip. I know what's in that bag. I want it. What? Todd grabbed onto the straps of his backpack with both hands. Just give it to me, Massey said. You want it? Todd asked. Yes. Really? Yes. Okay. He slid the bag off his shoulders, stepped closer to Massey. She could feel her hands getting clammy. Ready? Ready? Todd asked. Ready, she said. Todd stood on his toes, sprang forward, and planted his lips right on Massey's. Ew! She screamed, being barked. And then he runs away. And she was like, what did he give you? And he's like a Medal of Honor, like, mind your business. There he was gone, and had made off with a lot more than Cam's gift, because on November 6th, at exactly 4:17 p.m., Todd Lyons had stolen Massey Block's first kiss. And unfortunately, she'd never get it back. I hate that. I hate the way, it's so gross. I hate it here. Respect women. Teach your children to respect people. Your affections for them do not override their autonomy as people. And I know it shouldn't be that deep, but it is that deep to me. It's so gross. So her first kiss gets stolen. Like in a way to assault, to like, oh god, I hate it. So now that Massey can go shopping again due to the ceasefire, the pretty committees at the mall, they're all chatting. They're like, oh my god, I need to go to the Abercrombie and Fitch so that I can get a copy of the bag, because Abercrombie and Fitch, their paper bags used to have the models on them. So Christian goes inside the store, and they're all talking and arguing about Darrington, and finally Kristen's like, well, I'm gonna hang out with him. We're going to a Major League Soccer game. And Dylan's like, well, I'm taking him later on in the week to a gala event my mother is hosting, and he's gonna be so impressed with me when I win the whatchamacallit, the fashion show. And everyone's like, you're not, that's cheating, you're cheating, because your mom's stylist is doing all the work. And they're like, they argue back and forth. Well, then Alicia's like, this is stupid, I gotta end it right now. She's like, he's a dirtbag, he's playing both of you because you keep doing cool stuff. Kristen's been doing his homework, and Massey's been buying him cool stuff. No, Kristen's been doing his homework, Dylan's been buying him cool stuff. I just feel like, So Alicia texts Darrington and is like, hey, do you want to like hang out with me on Monday, which is the day of Kristen's thing? And he's like, yeah, of course, at the exact time. And then he's like, oh, then she's like, okay, now here's the thing that Dylan's thing is on Wednesday. And he's like totally willing to drop everything to hang out with her. And Kristen and Dylan are devastated. He was just hanging out with them to get things. Massey's like, well, I mean, he is what he was for Halloween, a dirtbag. But they agreed to cease fire about Derek, and they're like, sorry, we were so dumb, and they hug each other. And then everything is kind of coming back together because Kristen and Dylan aren't fighting. I don't know why I conflate Dylan and Massey so hard in my brain. But it's not all well in the hood because Alicia's paired up with Olivia to do, so Alicia's not spending the night, and this is the first time that she won't be spending the night at Massey's house for a slumber party in over a year. And Massey's a little sad about it, but Alicia is like, sorry, bye guys, and it's like twinkle in her eyes. Her plan is all coming together. You know, she's the top dog. She's hosting. She's the big bad girl. So it's Saturday. It's the day of the big fashion show. And the Principal Burns, and Pia, their like fashion consultant, are there in the audience along with some editors at Teen Vogue. Excuse me. Alicia has these Ralph Lauren inspired blazers, plaid blazers, and like strappy sandals and like capri cut. Which, now that I'm saying it out loud, sounds very, very similar to the Alpha's uniforms. That is terrible. Absolutely abhorrent that you're still trying to play the same style. 7 years later. Gross. The main competition being Massey and Claire's look, which are these like color-coded based on if you're like a winter, summer, fall, or spring. If you're like super fair, you would wear like pastels. If you got red hair, 4 girls. She started, 1 redhead, 1 dark blonde, 1 towhead, and a brunette. That's shady. That's so rude. Dylan, Kristen, and Claire and Massey slipped out of their robes and let them fall to the ground. The striptease, as curated as it was, captured the boys' attention. Christina Aguilera's Dirty kicked in, and the girls separated, each taking a different corner of the runway. The song choice was their secret homage to the costumes that got them there in the first place. We invite you to ask yourself, Massey continued, what color palette is right for me? Is your hair brown or black? And does your skin tone range from ivory to deep brown? If so, then you're a Massey, and your uniform should be a pure white and green, Claire said as she spoke. Massey paraded around the runway, making sharp turns and waving to her adoring fans. She wore a dark green suede skirt that was the exact replica of the one Todd had destroyed with grape juice, soft, short, and A-line. It had a purple rhinestone holstered clip to the side of it for her cell phone. Right when the explosive chorus hit in the song, Massey took off her matching green blazer, complete with a big yellow flower pinned to the lapel, and hung it over her shoulder. The black beret made her look like the charming French model she always knew she could be. Applause. A white strapless silk top with the letter M stitched in the upper left corner was underneath. Purple rhinestones covered platforms with knee-high black socks rounded out the look. Roaring applause. So, that fashion with Kristen being the blonde who should wear red and turquoise and a soft white. Claire being pastels. Excuse me. Wearing like baby blue. And then Dylan wearing ivory and lavender, which I think is really pretty. So the crowd goes banana pants for their looks. And now the semifinals is between, of course, Alicia and Olivia and Massey and the pretty committee. So everyone goes to vote, and they're voting with thimbles. So Massey paints hers purple and puts it in her group's thing. Well, they go out for intermission. When they come back onto the stage, the votes are tallied. Mind you, Alicia and Olivia are like sexily campaigning next to the vote place, and the girls left because they thought they were running a fair race. They go backstage, and when they come out, Alicia and Olivia have won, which would have been fine if it was fair vote, but Massey goes to look at the things with Claire and sees that her purple thimble is in Alicia, the one labeled for Alicia and Olivia, and she's like, oh shit, these bitches cheating. So Claire's like, I'm ready to fucking rumble. I'm ready to get this bitch. And Massey's like, no. We lie in wait for revenge most sweet. So, Claire and Massey are now, like, kind of close. They're friendly with one another. Massey doesn't take being slighted very well, but she's gonna get that revenge. They go to dinner, the families. Massey's pretty pissed, but, you know, whatever. Todd gives Massey a bouquet of flowers of lavenders, because purple's her favorite color. And then he gives Claire a letter and tells her to open it when she gets home. She opens the letter, and it's from Cam, and Cam is like, oh god, you must have hated the mixtape I made for you since you didn't reply to me. I'll make you another one at some point. And she's like, oh, hold up. Yeah, this is important. Sorry. Megan, cut this in. So, after Massey finds out that Alicia's cheating... Oh, goodbye. I consider this a win for all of us, Alicia says. I mean, we're still best friends, right? Of course. We couldn't be happier for you, Massey said through her teeth. By the way, I have some gossip, Alicia said, but I won't ask for points. Consider this one a gift. She was twirling a ruby and gold ring on her index finger. Uh-huh. Massey sounded bored. Someone likes you. Alicia gushed. A lot. Really? Massey asked who. She tried to sound uninterested, but her insides were thumping and pounding. Cam liked her. Cam with his green and blue eyes liked her. Not Alicia, not Olivia, not Dylan, not Kristen, not some 8th grader, but her. That night was almost good again. Darrington, Alicia said. What about him? He likes you. He told me himself, but begged me not to tell you, so don't tell anyone, okay? Really? Massey crinkled her eyebrows. Are you sure? Yeah, my gossip's always right. Why? For some reason I thought you were going to say Cam, Massey said nonchalantly. No, he likes someone else, but he still won't say who it is. So what are you going to do about Kristen and Dylan? Massey's brain was reeling. She suddenly felt very thirsty. Wouldn't he rather like Kristen or Dylan? Massey asked. He told me he only made plans with them because he thought you'd be there. Alicia seemed thrilled by this news, but Massey couldn't understand why. So what are you going to do? I'm going to go find my parents and grab some ice cream. And that's when the dinner thing happens. If Cam didn't like her, then who did he like? She was too overwhelmed to get to the bottom of it tonight, but tomorrow she would launch a full investigation. And when she found out, she would fight that girl to the finish. Womp womp wow. Dear Claire, you must have really hated the CD I made. Because you never got back to me about the movie. Anyway, I thought your uniform was awesome, and I think you should have won. Cam. P.S. The kids were a cool touch. Claire's just like, oh my god, he likes me back. It's so cute. This is great. And she almost tells Massey, and it almost thinks, oh my god, I'm gonna finally have a BFF in Massey to discuss this with. But she don't know that Massey's gonna come for her wig, scalp her. Bye. There's just so much to this. And Claire is like, oh my god, I finally earned her friendship. We like each other now. Claire watched Massey wipe the sides of her mouth with a cloth napkin and reapply a fresh coat of lip gloss, and she began to understand why Massey waited so long to accept her. Like the right to wear a dirty devil costume, Massey's friendship wasn't something Claire was entitled to. It was something she had to earn, and she had finally done it. Claire slid her hand into her back pocket of her Gap jeans and touched the folded note from Cam to make sure it was still there. I'll show it to Massey after dinner, she thought. Claire couldn't wait to see her reaction. She imagined they would jump and hug and read it over and over again until they knew every word by heart. Claire had a feeling life with Massey was about to get real exciting. And you know what? She's right. It is about to get more exciting. You're just about to get absolutely dog-walked as Massey Stalingrad's getting, beaten from all sides. Alicia's coming for her wig. Claire's coming for the boy she likes. Like, it is going to be petty. But, Claire, you stupid slut. There isn't even going to be a pool. God. This book, I really liked it. This one gets a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads for me. We're going on, next book is Revenge of the Wannabes. And that's, I'm not going to read the back of the book before I read the book again. I'm just not going to. You couldn't pay me to. Do my research? No. I honest to God thought that the apex of the book, the main crux, I thought the plot was going to center more around Halloween, whereas that was more the Star of the Rising action and the fashion show being the main crux of the book. I feel like this book was much more well structured. It's just like little vignettes, slipped on in there. You're just in it for a month with these girls. Like me. Yeah. Alright, so I'll see you next month with Revenge of the Wannabes. I tossed my copy on the back of the bed, but we'll get there. Yeah. You can check out my Bachelor reviews on my channel, somewhere around here. And you can also check out the rest of my Girl Bossing Through History, where I talk about the sister series to this book, to CLIQUE, the alphas. You can also check out my beauty channel. You can check out a lot of things related to me. I'm very on the web. All at Megan_Blush or Megalina. You'll find me somehow. Yeah. Bye. What book is next? I'm gonna say this for the end. What book is next? The next book is Revenge of the Wannabes. And put this at the end of the video. Put this at the end of the video. And Revenge of the Wannabes is one that I owned. That I bought in the book sale at my local library when when these books were being weeded. Cause I always like to take a guess on who's actually on the cover of these. I think it's Kristen, Massey, and Claire on the cover of this one. And then I don't know for this one. And then this one's definitely Claire Massey is but yeah. Next month we'll be reading Revenge of the Wannabes, my very pretty copy. And I already know what I'm gonna wear. Unless I buy some more outfit pieces. I already know what I'm gonna wear. So this one's gonna be fun. This one's a long one. Yeah, this one's 300.